Resolve all the way. I was in Premiere Pro. All the subscriptions got so expensive. Literally, DaVinci Resolve is free, and then you pay once for the Pro version and you get it forever. It's literally the best, and I don't have to keep paying each month. Ooh, OBS or StreamYard. Okay, this is a hard one. So StreamYard, if you have guests and if you need those local recordings, because I can't tell you how many times StreamYard has saved my ass with a local recording when a guest glitches out because they have crappy internet. But in terms of customizability and just being able to perfect your layout to exactly what you want all the time, OBS. OBS is probably my daily driver unless you have guests, and then it's StreamYard. USB all the way for a beginner. I think XLRs can get difficult. I love my XLR mics, but USB has gotten so good. Get a good sounding USB mic, plug it in, you're good to go. 9 times out of 10, I don't like AI voiceovers. I still think it sounds kind of trash, but ElevenLabs is killer and it's gotten so much better. On the flip side, if you're trying to clean up audio that you already have and you haven't tried Adobe's new podcast mixer and cleaner, holy cow, that is so good. If you've got noisy footage or you just want to make your podcast or your video sound that much better, Adobe Podcast is so good. Okay, for camera setup, if you are a beginner, if this is your first time kind of building out a studio, USB web camera is great. It's low cost. I literally reviewed like 4 of them on this channel and they're really, really good in 2026. Easy setup, beginner-friendly USB webcam. If this is not your first go and you're really trying to get serious, I think after you've already upgraded your sound, number one most important, a solid mirrorless camera, either with USB-C functionality so you can just plug it right into your computer, or a good capture card, very nice.
It's nice.
Ring lights are so overdone and you have to get them just perfect to get that like ring in your eye. So 100%, most of my lights here in the studio are either single source LED cob lights or panel lights. That's my go-to all the time. AI clipping still sucks. I wish it was better because it would save me so much time, but I don't trust any AI clipping. Opus clip kind of maybe is better.
You weren't really shit, but you weren't all that great either.
But I think they both suck. If you really want good shorts out of long form content, sit there, pick it out, use your human eye and intuition, and it's gonna be better 100% of the time. Solid question. I think retention is important, but honestly, you have people's attention for no more than 3 seconds and you have to honor that. So hook, always hook. Make sure that your hook is solid. After that, then you try and retain them. Beginners starting out, anytime you're building out your first podcast or your first YouTube channel, always audio. You've got to make sure it sounds good because we can all as viewers kind of let it go if you have crappy lighting or like not the best camera in the world. But if it sounds like trash, you won't stick around, you won't listen. Always good audio, and then make sure it looks good after that. So I think this has actually switched for me in the last year or two. Instagram used to feel like it was really kind of easy to build a community and a platform there and get discovered, but YouTube has actually grown so much, even in its shorts, of just discoverability, and they are constantly pushing new creators, even if you don't have 1 million followers. So I think YouTube is actually where it's at right now. I think if you had to pick one, shoot horizontal for long form and then recut later for short form. But I think realistically, if you want the most bang for your buck, you should be producing content for where it's actually going to go. So if you're shooting for horizontal, or if you're aiming for like a YouTube delivery, it should be shot in horizontal. And if you're going for TikTok or YouTube Shorts, produce that version of content either with your phone or with something shot vertical. I think if you have the time, shoot for the delivery, but if you don't have the time, shoot horizontal, make sure you give yourself enough space or open gate if you have it, and then crop it later. I think scripting versus not is always hard for me because I feel like I run out of things to talk about and I never want to ramble on a video. But authenticity is king in 2026, and even Adam Mosseri, the head of Instagram, has said authenticity shines on the Instagram platform. So I think the more that you stress scripting and writing out beforehand, the less you're actually filming, shooting, and putting out there. So I think bullet point if you need to, but speak from the heart, and if you ramble, but you'll find your audience. So for me, less scripting, more just shooting it from the hip, and that's my style. I can't say that I've ever used Notion, so I don't know about Notion, but Airtable is freaking killer. I use it for everything. It is the database over every database, so I organize everything in my Airtables. So out of the two, Descript or CapCut, CapCut's killer. But I usually will caption in Resolve. So I usually use Resolve. If I have to, I'll go through CapCut. But like the other ringer in this question would be actually Instagram's new editing app, Reels. It's actually really good, and I've used it a couple of times just for Instagram Reels. It's really good at captioning, so that might be one of my new favorites, and it's got a couple of other like hidden features inside of that app that only that app does that makes it kind of top on my list right now. So usually I think LUTs versus grading manually depends on your delivery again. If you are like over delivering this, I always build out a custom look for what I'm doing. But as I build out more projects for certain clients, I know they have a certain look, so I save that as their built-in LUT, speeds up the workflow a little bit. So I like to put a custom touch on everything that I'm doing, but I definitely have my built-in like go-to daily driver LUTs that I use on every project. So I think if you're a beginner starting out, the hardest thing to ever do is push post. You can over edit and you will overshoot and you will reshoot. So I think the best thing to do if you are starting out on YouTube in 2026 is push that post button so much that you have to learn what's good, what's not, and get better. So don't worry about expensive gear. Shoot with what you've got. If you've got an old camera, use it. If you don't and you just have your iPhone, use that. But don't stress about expensive gear. Just start shooting and putting it out there. You will learn so much more by doing and posting than you will by getting it perfect on the first go. Nobody gets it perfect on the first go. Okay, so thumbnails is a little bit tricky. I think if you're shooting thumbnails for shorts, YouTube shorts, TikTok, or Instagram, it's better to go with a still frame from the video and then add your caption to it, especially on YouTube shorts. That seems to always do better. If I'm doing a long form YouTube video, generally I'll composite stuff together from other shoots that I've done. If it's my headshots, I'll pull in different versions of my face and then I'll composite that together with AI and the thumbnail title, and I'll try and build it all together into one cohesive image. So if it's long form, I put a little bit more time into actually building the packaging in Photoshop. Short form vertical content, I think pull a screenshot that is really engaging and captivating, and then make sure you visually hook them with a good title. This is a little bit of a dated question, Runway ML or Sora. Honestly, I think VO 3 is like my go-to, but Kling has a great model as well that I've been using a ton and super happy with. Honestly, neither. Go with Higgsfield. Higgsfield has all the models and it's a great source, and you can try out a bunch of different ones. So right now I was using VO, now I'm using Higgsfield. So I was using ChatGPT all of the time. I thought their model was really good, but the newer Nano Banana is like, it's like 50-50. I don't know. I use both. Actually, if you go to, arena.lm, you can like go versus like side by side different models. So that's actually what I've been doing, is using Arena, and I'll put ChatGPT over here and I'll put Gemini over here and see which one does the best with my prompt. But if I'm not getting the image that I want, the other like pro tip is to either use Claude, which I've been using a lot more recently, or ChatGPT to improve my prompt, and then I go put it into Nano Banana. Okay, so if you had a choice between batch filming and filming weekly, if you could only do one, I would say batch film one long form content and then cut it up for different shorts. That way you have something to go out on YouTube as a long form content, and then you also have a bunch of little shorts that you can put out on YouTube Shorts and Instagram and TikTok. I would say realistically though, probably better to schedule enough time to do one long form, one batched thing that you can cut up and schedule out, and then stay flexible enough to film something if there's a trending topic that you want to talk about. I think the flexibility to stay live on filming stuff is really, really important to capture trends and to capture important things that you want to talk about. But I think that it can eat you alive if you are trying to film every day and post every day. So batch what you can and then keep some flexibility for spontaneity. So for mic choice, I think obviously, like we said earlier, go USB mic over an XLR mic if you can find it. But I think that ultimately when you're picking a mic for your studio, you have to keep in consideration, are you really noise canceling your studio? Is it air conditioned? Are you constantly dealing with like neighbors' noise or other noise around you, or is it well controlled? I'm a huge fan of a condenser shotgun mic. I have one over this studio and I use it all the time, but also I have a podcast mic that I use 99% of the time because it cuts out all of that extra noise. So I think the most important is to be mindful of your surroundings. And if you need some noise cancellation, go with the dynamic podcast style mic. If you have your room treated and you are very confident that your noise floor is low, condenser mic sounds really good. Ooh, that's a hard one. Okay, 4K or 1080. Again, it's like deliverability. I do both. If I'm trying to go out fast and like just get something recorded and I know where it's going out on YouTube, 1080 is fine. I'll record it in OBS and I'll post it. I think for a lot of stuff, that's great. But 4K helps future-proof you a little bit. You have enough room on any side to be able to crop in and do your vertical stuff. So I think if you've got the space and the storage, shoot on 4K, it's awesome. But if you're just going out fast and you're trying to deliver quick, as long as your capture card is good or the way it's feeding into your computer is good, 1080 is usually good enough. I started in Final Cut, but also Apple's starting to get a little greedy and watching what Adobe's doing. And I don't know if you saw it, now they're starting to charge for their whole creative suite. I am so anti-subscriptions that go on forever for one piece of software. So even though I started in Final Cut, when they did the whole slipping timeline thing after Final Cut 10, I jumped ship and I went to Premiere for a couple of years, and then the subscription ate me alive and I got sick of paying it. And I've been on DaVinci Resolve for the last 10 years and I love it. DaVinci Resolve, 100%. Team Sony, 100%. Sony, no question. I was a Canon. There's a Canon back here somewhere. A Canon. I sold all my other Canons, and I have too many Sony cameras to admit. DJI wins it for me, bro. I like both. They're both really good. Honestly, as long as you've got 32-bit float, it's a game changer when it comes to recording audio. But the way DJI, the way DJI designed their cases to be charging, and it's all magnets, and DJI is just an easier system. The other thing that I could not do with the Rode is you have to download Rode's app and adjust all of your settings inside the Rode app, or you've got cryptographic, hold this button down, push this button while you push this button just for gain settings. The DJI receiver is a touch screen, and if I want to move the gain up or down, I just touch the touch screen or spin the dial. It's so easy. DJI makes great products and their mics knock it out of the park. So for me, Team DJI. All right, and that was This or That with at least my opinions on content creator stuff in 2026. Let me know what you think. Do you agree, or did I get it totally wrong? Hit me up in the comments. See you later.